Can we just, quick introductions first, and then we'll go to Jeremy after. Go.
Yeah, so my name is Sarah Moret. I'm the founder and CEO of Curie. We're a clean body care brand, best known for our aluminum-free deodorant. Been around for about 4.5 years now, and the reason I'm on this panel is because we just launched in 4,300 Walmart doors 6 weeks ago. Yeah. So this is very early days of retail for us.
Yes, no.
Thank you.
Clap that up. That's...
It was an undertaking, obviously with a lot of lessons learned along the way. But funny enough, Jeremy and I have been friends for a few years now, and he was the first person I called when we got into Walmart. So the fact that we landed on a panel together is serendipitous.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Jeremy. I'm the COO at Kitsch. We're a 13-year-old hair care brand. I need to give a shout out to my wife, Cassandra, who's the CEO and founder.
Woo!
Right in the front. Like I said, Kitsch is a all things hair care brand. We are in over 20,000 retail locations and probably over 500,000 total points of distribution at retail.
So why this conversation is happening is because whatever is about to happen in the economy, whether it's 2023, it's uneasy, whether 2024 is uneasy, but a lot of brands are wondering, okay, if my costs are rising online, I have to get in these doors, I have to get somehow how to get into retail. You just went through this, and I remember when you were trying to get into, you tried to get in and it didn't work early, and then all of a sudden it did.
We got no's from like every retailer for years.
Why?
I think, this kind of goes into one of my big lessons, which is retail, especially mass retail, like Walmart, Target. You need to be at a certain scale in order to perform, and I think you would agree with me. Like, if you are a small, nascent brand, it's going to be really hard to move the volume that these big retailers expect. And so I think that all these retailers saying no to us in the early days was a blessing in disguise because we weren't ready. And what's happened is the business has grown and grown. We were on Shark Tank last year.
Yeah.
We've 10x'd the business. And boom, that was when Walmart reached out to us.
No,
and
don't go to that story. I want to hit that story in a second.
But I think that's an important, I think the timing is something, especially getting into mass retail, is not something that I would recommend rushing.
This is 13 years. Getting in and staying in is a completely different ballgame. How are you able to get into those doors that early on?
Early on we started, really, my wife and I started door-to-door sales, trade shows. I think for us, kind of launching an online business, secondarily to wholesale, was being able to start small. We could get a lot of learnings done. We could see what products worked. We could see how to merchandise it. I think when you start playing with mass retailers like Walmart, Target, or even drug like CVS and Walgreens, the stakes are so high because you can basically have like 80% of your inventory sent back to you.
Well, that's a point that you talked about. It's negotiable. You can negotiate if you aren't, as you get into these doors, because the issue could be if you make all this production and all of a sudden it doesn't sell, they want to send it back. Then you're kind of shit out of luck, right? You're kind of in a tough spot. Have you gone through something like this where you had to make inventory, didn't sell, and they sent it back?
Not that I can remember, no. I think, like I said, we had so much data of what was working, being able to play at like Urban Outfitters early on, or Paper Source, or some of the smaller folks that, we had so much data to bring to the table that we had a really high degree of confidence of what was going to work and what wasn't. We knew what pricing was going to work too. It's not like online you can just go into the back end of your Shopify store, and if that price doesn't work, you can just drop your price or raise your price. Once you set a price at retail, that's basically your price.
Did you experience on this? Because you didn't, the SKU set you have compared to the SKU set you have, you went in kind of with your heroes. Was that the plan all along?
So we have 7 SKUs in Walmart. They definitely wanted more. But for me, again, with the issue of my fear was getting into Walmart, getting into 4,300 doors, and then certain SKUs not selling, and you run that risk, and with any retailer, if your SKUs don't sell, of potentially having to take that inventory back. So I strategically chose the 7 SKUs that we move big volumes of on our website. And I was like, if I know I can move volume with these SKUs, then it's going to do well. It's likely to do well in mass. Whereas, some of our newer SKUs, some of our body care SKUs that are, less than 10% of the business, I didn't have that same confidence, and so I chose not to put those SKUs into mass.
They went all doors. Doesn't normally start with just a segment of the market?
I think it depends. I don't know what your experience was with Target and Walmart. We went all doors because there were several reasons. One is we were able to get more support from them by going full chain versus
support meaning what? Like, what did they support with?
So they will provide support depending on your investment. They'll provide marketing support, PR support. We got beautiful displays that we've been able to put on the shelves. So by going full chain, we were able to get more internal support from them. And so that was the main reason that we did it. But I don't know if your experience was different.
We didn't do the full doors. I mean, I think for us, we like to say we grow slow over 13 years, but it's actually been pretty fast when you really think about it over time. I think for us, we've always wanted longevity over growth. But I would say just the risk profile for us is different. But at the same time, if you're an e-commerce brand and you're trying to market, it's really hard to send your social following to 30%. You're like, go to 30% of Walmarts. We don't really know where they are. That's not, so to be able to roll out nationwide, there are definitely advantages to that as well. I would say at the same time, there are certain doors that just don't perform well and certain doors that really perform well. And so for us, we really try to ask to be put in the top performing markets, because the same Walmart, one Walmart can sell 10x the amount of units per store per week than the same product at a different location.
What do you have to know if you're deciding on, hey, I think this is the path I want to go towards? Is it through a broker? Is it through recommendations? What's that path forward to get into the more doors? I'm not talking fair. I want to go back to that place in a second. But how do you get that initial, who do I talk to get into this?
Are you saying at specific retailers?
Yes.
I mean, you can find most of the buyer contact on LinkedIn or Rocket Reach. I know a lot of founders that have gotten into retail by just Googling and finding buyers' email addresses or finding them on LinkedIn and messaging them. Walmart reached out to us, which was a blessing, again, because we had gotten so many no's over the years. But I think that's typically the approach, is either going direct or going through a broker. So ultimately, we did end up hiring a broker. There's a lot of things a broker can help you with beyond just getting you into the retailer, but they can also help make those introductions and help you get into the retail doors.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Sarah. You can find a lot of the contacts. I think the thing that one of the biggest misconceptions that people think about retail is that it's about getting in. And it's not really about getting in, it's kind of about staying in. We always say it's not sell in, it's sell through. It doesn't matter how much Walmart or Target.
Getting in is step 1 of 10. It's the first hurdle. There's so much work after that.
So I think if you find the right, sales rep or broker, those people are not supposed to necessarily earn you the business, but they're supposed to help you grow the business. And like all brokers and all agencies, there's really fantastic ones and there's less so.
Well, a quote that you had is I sell a lot of little things in a lot of different places. I've heard you say this a couple of times. Where else are you selling right now? Where are all your doors?
This is kind of a good segue into Faire. We have about 8,000 independent retailers just on Faire. I think we're one of the top brands on Faire's marketplace. If we go through the categories like grocery, we're in Whole Foods, Wegmans, Sprouts, Bristol Farms. My wife's helping me out a little bit.
He's looking in the front where am I?
Drug, we're in CVS and Walgreens. And with retail, there's also, like bankruptcy risk. Like Rite Aid just filed for Chapter 11 yesterday.
How does that impact you as the brand?
It worries me. We're not at Rite Aid,
Okay, well then
So,
never mind.
we definitely tried to do, evaluate risk mitigation in terms of, the liquidity of a retailer. I would say, and then, like specialty, we're in the entire urban group. And I think a lot of people, sometimes when you really think about it, it's like the bigger retailers actually have like smaller subsidiaries. So we're in like Free People, Urban Outfitters, and Anthropology. That's really all one group. And so if you learn how to ship like a certain group, like you can kind of process POs and fulfillment in the same sort of manner. And then I did food, drug, we're in Target and Walmart. Beauty, we're in Ulta Beauty. Internationally, we're in, what's that? Mecca in Australia. We're in Boots in the UK. We're also grocery, we're in Meijer. I've taken a little bit of a step away from the retail business because what we've actually done now is we have category-specific teams. The same products that sell.
What size did you get to before you made that decision?
Every time we got a new retailer, we were like, okay, like who's the team that's gonna, service this retailer? And then as we got larger groups of retailers, we said, okay, well, we can put this group of retailers together and have it serviced by a single team.
Okay. Is there specific products after you, obviously you both have core online businesses and that has sell through, you're tracking that, you're updating that, you understand what your purchase orders and your forecasting is going to be. Adding in a retailer, does that just make the equation so completely complex?
For us, it was a big jump. Jeremy, Kitsch is in so many retail doors at this point. I'm sure you're used to it, but we were going from 100% D2C
I know.
to 100% D2C, or now we're probably 60, 70% D2C.
Already?
And Walmart has taken up a big chunk of our business. Yeah, it's a huge distribution, a huge part of our revenue now, and also servicing Walmart is really different from servicing our D2C business because D2C, you can go out of stock, you do pre-order, you can communicate with your customers, whereas Walmart or retail, you really can't just sell out of your inventory without risking your relationship with that retailer. So that's been a huge challenge for us. And over the last year, we've really had to overhaul our supply chain and back end and make sure that we have, way more stock than we held before. And especially make sure that those 7 SKUs that are in Walmart, like our team knows, like we cannot sell out of these SKUs. So it's just kind of shifting priorities and obviously holding a lot more inventory and we had to overhaul basically our entire supply chain.
So this is why you're like, I'm glad I got in now than before.
Yes, absolutely. Like I think now we're set up for it, which is great, but we definitely were not set up for it a year ago, and it's been challenging. Honestly, that's been the challenge this year in 2023 is really getting ourselves ready to service 4,300 doors, and now we're set up to bring on more doors in next year. But I think people underestimate, like Jeremy said, getting into the retailer is like one little part of it. Servicing that retailer, shipping to that retailer, there's making sure that you're moving units on the shelves, like that's a whole other.
Well, you can't that's the Instagram post that we all like. You're in front of it, you're celebrating it.
Yeah.
We don't get to celebrate the back end of you fulfilling and making sure it works.
Yeah.
Your experience with, I remember walking through your facility. This is right when the boom happened with COVID, and everywhere I looked, somebody had a Kitsch mask on. We couldn't get away from those. We were even selling the Kitsch masks ourselves. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to sell.
I was selling it to Shanice's, your wife's retail store, yeah.
And I was like, this is the beauty of Fair. You're able to get these products out, even the small store, because we weren't ordering a ton of it. But when your business was set up in a way and you're selling various products, I remember we looked at this specific solid shampoo, and you're like, do you think this will work? And I go, I don't know if this is going to work. But I would have never guessed the masks putting you guys in the stratosphere. Planning for that scale, both online and in retailer, how did you pull this off?
Not sleeping. I mean, look, I think everyone needs like an incredible team of, channel experts. It's like, and I know we're talking mainly in like a D2C environment. So like, you need like a retention person who's different from a growth, or like a Facebook ad person. So I think it's about having people with different skill sets. Like we just hired like probably a long overdue position, which is a visual merchandiser, because we're doing so many displays now. But I mean, I think the thing that a lot of direct-to-consumer brands, have advantage over legacy brands is the speed to market. Like, that really gives us advantage over like Conair or the P&Gs. Like when we had masks and it was like COVID, like Walgreens came to us. This is a crazy story. Walgreens came to us in like March of 2020, and they're like, yeah, we're talking to the CDC. There's going to be like a mask mandate. And they're like, you guys make eye masks, like sleep masks. Can you make face masks? And we're like, yeah, we've already been bringing some in for Cedars-Sinai. Like, they're like, great. Can you have 2 million at our DC on Monday? And this was on a Thursday. And we like called our team and we got it done. That turned into like an 80 million unit business in 2020. And I mean, we had containers in the parking lot. We were like...
It was wild.
It was
wild.
Yeah.
Finding out that you're going into the store and you actually see your product on the store, what was that like?
It was very exciting, but there was so much work leading up to it that it was kind of one of those things where once we actually got in, we were like, oh, finally. It was a lot of work, but it was super exciting to see it on the shelves. And, we have these beautiful displays, and there was so much hard work that was put into it. It was super exciting. We actually went to Bentonville and got to see it in, like, store number 1, which is right in Bentonville, and it's beautiful. And that was super exciting. We have, like, videos of it. It was...
The strategy of like inventory placement and how many products you put in and send to them, now do you start building specific products that segment or that's for that specific market in Walmart or any of these doors? I'm going to go to you and then I'm going to ask you a similar question. Once you start getting the information of what's actually selling there, are you creating anything new or different just for the Walmart buyer?
For us, scent is such a big part of like the core Curie experience that we're really leaning into scent innovation.
Interesting.
It's, we have right now 3 different scents in our stick deodorant and our spray deodorant in Walmart, and we're definitely keeping a close eye on which scents are performing. Does the Walmart shopper like citrus, or are they looking for more floral? And then using that information, the demographic information, to develop more fragrances that are going to appeal to the Walmart demographic. So that's where we're really focusing, is scent innovation. But Jeremy, what about you guys? Are you looking at your retailers for innovation?
Absolutely. It's really interesting. Ulta Beauty is one of our biggest and most cherished customers. I think we have around 12 feet of horizontal space at Ulta. One of the things that we do is, which we call kind of routine building. So, you imagine kind of like a planogram or like a wall set. What we want the customer to do is not decide like, having to pick one of like 10 different color hair towels. Because we know people aren't going to buy like 10 hair towels. They're probably going to buy 1 hair towel. So what we want to do is we want to build like a routine assortment. So we want them to buy the hair towel, the shampoo, the comb, the hair accessory. We had this really interesting like planogram photo where it was like before Kitsch and after Kitsch. And the before was like just a bunch of like black elastics, and people were basically like, okay, like, well, this elastic's like 25 cents cheaper, so maybe I'll buy this one or this claw clip. For us, you get this like really colorful variety where people can actually basket build, and I think that's what retailers are looking for, is just like, a direct-to-consumer brand is trying to build their AOV with bundles, retailers are also looking to basket build.
Basket building is like how many products is each customer buying of Curie or of Kitsch, and they pay close attention to that. So you want to put products in there, like Jeremy said, that are complementary. So, for example, we put in our stick deodorant, our spray deodorant, and our armpit detox mask. And that was strategically because rather than put in 7 different scents of our same stick deodorant, we're like, let's do 3 of our stick, 3 of our spray, and our armpit detox mask, so that people, because we see on our website that people buy our pit kit, which is a stick, a spray, and a detox mask.
Love that.
So we're like, let's try to encourage that behavior in stores, because if we just put 7 different fragrances to choose from, people are probably just going to choose one. Whereas now we're seeing people pick up a stick, they're picking up a spray, and they're picking up an armpit detox mask. So therefore, our basket is higher than if we just had scent options.
Interesting. And when you're looking at the aisles right next to the checkout versus aisles in the specific section, do you view those differently? Because that might mean you have a travel set over here versus everything you offer in the main core aisles. Have you guys gone that deep in structuring where you want to be?
I'm only 6 weeks in,
okay.
so
fair.
We're just in our aisle right now, and we're focused on that. But no, there are opportunities. We were actually just talking about there's end caps, there's sidekicks, there's 4-ways, there's all these out-of-aisle displays that you can get at these
anybody
retailer.
do that?
What do you mean?
Like I'm a brand.
You pitch for it.
You pitch for it,
pitch.
yeah. And your buyer, ultimately, it's the buyer's decision.
Okay.
Because they only have a certain limited number of slots. But those are the main opportunities that we're going after right now to get our product out of aisle and, front and center when someone's walking through the beauty section or deodorant section. Those are coveted spots within retailers.
I mean, I think for us, we do a lot of cash wrap stuff, and it's a really, really important, positioning for the brand. Sometimes it's a way to introduce a new product before it goes from like cash wrap to inline, or sometimes it's like a holiday or a promotional SKU. So it definitely really depends. Also, there's a lot of price sensitivity around cash wrap. Typically you want to do, less expensive items at the cash wrap. It's kind of like little mini add-ons, and which our brand has a boatload of.
Oh my God.
Little low price items.
I swear, I opened a drawer at my house and there's something somewhere from Kitsch. And I understand that the way you guys wanted to be a part of everybody's day, morning, noon, and night. And I think that's something that's really cool about how you guys are going about it. We have a little bit of time left. One more nugget for you guys of anyone that's like, hey, I really want to do this. This is the next step of level for my business. You're fresh in it. You're an OG. What would you say?
I think I was actually thinking on the way here about what are my biggest lessons that I've learned. I think there's one we touched on, like getting in is 1/10 of the battle. Once you're in retail, you really have to work. It's up to you to move product off the shelf. The retailer is not going to do it for you. And so I think a lot of brands underestimate how much work there is once you actually get on the shelves. You have to put together a 360-degree marketing plan. You have to put huge investment into making, your performance within that retailer up to, whatever standard they set. So I think that's one big lesson is getting into the retailer is only half the battle. Second is pay attention to, one thing that we did was we changed our packaging when we got into retail. And this is a conversation I've had on Twitter recently with a couple of brands, where the packaging design for D2C tends to be.
It's not this.
This is the new packaging that since we got into Walmart, yeah. Okay. So, for example, these little scent illustrations, those were not on that was not on our deodorant before we got into Walmart. That was a big thing that we changed. But really changing your packaging for retail so that it's gonna catch someone's eye when they're walking down the aisle, and so it's gonna tell them what your product is as quickly as possible. That was what we really prioritized, and we spent a lot of time doing consumer research, literally going into Walmart, putting our products on the shelves and being like, can you tell in 5 seconds what we're selling and why you need to buy it?
I mean, I think for us,
awesome.
Don't be afraid to say no. I think it's so exciting to get into a large retailer, and there'll be these $1 million purchase orders, and they're very, very tempting. But at the same time, sometimes the way retailers or buyers think about it is like they're looking for something they don't have. So sometimes you know, they might ask you to pitch like your C or B grade SKU, and like it causes us a lot of heartache. But we're like, no, you have to take our A products, and we also want them to take the products that we're putting a ton of Facebook spend behind, that we're building awareness on.
Yeah.
And that's the advantage that we have against legacy brands, is that we're spending like $30 million a year on digital marketing. Like a lot of legacy brands that are in retail can't compete with us. So it's really fun, but we want to make sure that, you know, the brands that we're spending the $30 million a year on, that those are the products that we're spending $30 million a year on, that those are the actual products that are being placed in stores.
Yeah. And I think that's what you just said is a good point around when you get into retail, and this is something I learned kind of the hard way.
Nice.
Is like a buyer doesn't want to hear, like we would go into these meetings previously and I'd be like, our product is so much better than what you have on the shelf. Like Native, like all these brands that you have on the shelf, like our product's better. People want our product instead of these other products you have on the shelf. That's not what the buyer wants to hear. They don't want you to be taking business away from existing brands on this shelf. They want you to prove that you're going to be bringing in new people. They want new customers. So you should pitch not that your product's better than what's on the shelf. You should say, you are not selling something that people want.
People are coming to your store looking for our product, and they're not getting it.
And we also are spending $30 million a year on Facebook, so we're going to bring in all these shoppers that aren't currently shopping at Walmart because people are so excited about our product. Like,
and if they can't get it at your store, they're going to go to CVS and buy our product on this beautiful end cap. So
yes.
Whatever.
At the beautiful end caps that I pitched and won for. I would take this in so many more directions if we had another hour. Jeremy, Sarah, thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.